What's up, guys? Welcome to the Linecheck podcast. It's me, Brennan Villarreal, your host. I can't even pronounce my own last name. Today, I'm in the studio with Ashleigh Morrissey, the owner of OkOk Vintage. What's up?
Hi, Brennan. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's good. Today's good.
How's your day today?
Good. I went to the V-Room Chili Cook-Off with my friend Daisy.
Sick. How was that?
It was fun. It was good.
What was your favorite tasting chili? Or are they all just bad? I'm sorry. Just kidding.
I was at a disadvantage because I don't eat red meat,
Mhm.
so I could only eat one of them. But it was really good.
No.
It was a vegan chili. It was bomb.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like vegan chili is like pretty easy to pull off.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you have like really good beans and, good vegetables in there, it's pretty delicious.
Yeah. That's great.
So yeah, OkOk Vintage is a shop where Ashleigh sources all of her clothing just from handpicking at different, like, what would you say? You like can't like.
I'm predominantly sourced from rag houses.
Mhm.
So it's like I specifically source with like privately owned rag houses, so it'll be one person that has a bunch of clothing that they sell wholesale.
Mhm.
There's so many different angles in the business, so realistically, it's a broad thing when you say rag house. But I source from somebody that specifically sources vintage to sell wholesale.
Cool.
And I do that mostly. Even when I travel abroad, that's kind of the people I end up finding, which is really cool.
That's super cool. Yeah, you went to Thailand recently?
Yeah, I did. I wound up sourcing in Bangkok. It was kind of never really the plan. It was a vacation, but it's fun for me. So no matter where I go, I end up sourcing at some point. But yeah, I went to a market that's really popular out there. It's every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's 8,000 vendors. And one of my friends here from Long Beach actually told me about it. And I met some really amazing people and wound up bringing home like 200 t-shirts. It was awesome. I definitely was not expecting that.
Yeah. When I was in the Philippines, there would always be like just like shops or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like vendor shops of just like clothing, and there'd just be like piles and piles and piles.
That's exactly what this was.
And I'd like go through them, and like I'm not big into like shopping or clothing, and plus like I was there, I was like all I need is like swim trunks, sandals, and like a t-shirt or no t-shirt, and I'd just be like going through piles. But it was so cool like finding like an AYSO like soccer shirt from like California, and you're like in the Philippines and like Southeast Asian. Like, how did this get here?
I actually found the people that I found at the market because I had been wandering around for a little bit, and I found like a 70s Long Beach Grand Prix shirt.
Dang.
And I was like, what is this doing here? This is so weird. And I like wound up wandering into their booth, and they just had piles on piles on piles of amazing t-shirts, like things that I would just lose my mind finding here. So I was really stoked. And they were just, there wound up being like San Diego, Long Beach, like a lot of like Southern California places. And it was like crazy to find that in the middle of Bangkok.
Yeah, I know like when I was younger, we'd always donate clothes to like our cousins in the Philippines. So I think it's like probably in that like same sense, like everyone just always donates like their hand-me-down clothing to like Southeast Asia and stuff like that.
I was there for such a short amount of time. I wasn't even able to kind of figure out the way that it all works there. But I plan on going back in January. I wound up like exchanging contact information with the people that I bought the most from, and they were like, yeah, we have a warehouse. You can come hang out during the week. I was like, okay. Oh, yeah. So definitely going to do that.
Besides that, that wasn't the only fun thing you did.
No,
I'm sure there was
Thailand was amazing. It was so much
weather,
fun. Yeah, it was beautiful
beaches.
Everyone there is so nice. It was an amazing experience for sure. I definitely loved everything about it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. That was like the cherry on top.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can't complain about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ashleigh is one of our, I would say like second guests that we've had that don't really work in the service industry, or like their goal isn't to work in the service industry. Like we had Evan Duran many moons ago, and he is into fitness and he wants to be like it's called a personal trainer, but he works in the service industry because he needs to make money to like pursue his goal. And Ashleigh is in that same boat too, where she works in the service industry as a bartender, but on the side, and her passion project is owning her vintage store.
Yeah.
So I like to like get that out there. Like you can work in the industry and then you can also do what you want to do,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't have anything to do with food or beverage or wine, whatever.
Yeah, the benefit of being a bartender and owning a business on the side has definitely been like networking.
Hmm.
I've met so many amazing people that have like helped me out in so many different ways through just being their regular bartender. It's been great. It's kind of hard to get away from almost.
Yeah,
And like the quick cash, obviously.
exactly.
Like I have started OkOk from literally nothing, like just whatever I had, and it's not like you make a bunch of money in the service industry.
Yeah,
Kind
exactly.
of just make it happen, but it's put me in a position where I'm able to do that. It's kind of like this never ending grind of like make some cash, put it back into your business, make some cash, put it back into your business. But luckily, the last year, I've had like enough momentum where I've been able to bartend a lot less. Like I really only bartend like once a week now for
That's
the most
nice.
part, which is really cool. But I still love it. Yeah, it's
That's
good.
cool. Yeah, and plus like you have a lot of like freedom,
Yeah, such a
your
flexible
shifts are
schedule.
like you can kind of just pick up wherever you want or
Yeah,
do
100%.
whatever you want basically.
Yeah.
Where did you get the like how did you like when wow. um when were you like, okay, I want to start doing like selling vintage clothing? Like how did
um,
that come about?
it actually happened. Well, I thought about it for a while, like in my early 20s. Vintage has always been like a really huge passion of mine. Something I was always into. Like I would cut class in college to go thrifting all the time. And I never really considered that it would be a career. But during COVID, I kind of just decided to go for it. And it really just snowballed. I started selling on Instagram and got a lot of really good feedback from friends. And one of my good friends, Jade Guzman, her mother, Elaine, owns Casa Deluxe on 4th and Cherry. And she offered me my first shop space, which is kind of how that happened. And then from there, it really just snowballed and it just keeps snowballing, but in the best way. That's kind of just makes me feel like it was
Yeah.
all supposed to be, which has been awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people's like passion projects always like blossom during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, it was definitely like the best thing to come out of that time. It was kind of great because you had nothing else to focus on but what you actually really cared about. And without having to be in a bar every single day, I was able to kind of like hone in on that, which was really rad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with the name for OK Vintage? I kind of already know, but I think the audience should know.
I love that you already know because so many people never know. But it's the name of a book from like the 70s. It was a really popular self help book. It's called I'm Okay, You're Okay. And that's like my legal business name is like I'm Okay, You're Okay Vintage, but it's a mouthful and pretty wordy. So it usually gets cut down to okay, okay, which is great. But yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, it's
I try to
super
like,
rad.
yeah, I try to put little copies of the book in the shop or like at my markets just to like
Yeah.
slide it in
It's like
there.
a little Easter egg.
Yeah,
I mean, when I went
exactly.
to your shop and I was like, because we also did a Linecheck like video reel
Yeah.
of Ashley's space. And that was like what I ended off the
Yeah,
video.
the
It's
title.
like, it's like an Easter egg. If you find it, then you like know, okay, this is where the name came from.
Exactly. I whenever I'm like out at like estate sales or like thrift stores in like other cities or something like that, whenever I find a copy of it, it always feels like a nod that I'm like where I'm supposed to be. So
Yeah.
it's like always been very special for me.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So what's the most memorable piece that you've like found that meant a lot to you?
Oh my
And have
goodness.
you sold it yet?
No. Um, that's so hard. Honestly, I have like a few prized possessions that I don't think I will ever sell. Um,
Like the book?
no. I do have my first copy of I'm Okay, You're
Okay.
Okay. It's definitely on my shelf. And I've been gifted so many copies over the years that I even forget that I have that one though.
Dang. Okay.
Um, it's so stupid, but my prized possession is like an old bootleg Rat Fink from the 70s that's just like perfectly worn, so cozy. And it's like one of my first like I think I found this shirt probably like 6 or 7 years ago. It was well before I sold vintage. So that one I will
Dang.
never part with.
Damn. So yeah, Ashley also not only finds like vintage clothing, but like antiques and
Yeah.
like old posters and all these like other knickknacks and stuff. And Yeah, I really love like all the like dish plates you find too, and like
Thank you.
cups. Those ones are really cool,
Yeah.
like old 7 Up stuff or
Yeah. I
yeah.
try to keep an open mind when it comes to sourcing with OkOk. I just really pick like whatever catches my eye. At the end of the day, like there really is just like something for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's really just like a curation of whatever I think's really cool.
Yeah.
And
I
hopefully
mean,
I find like-minded people that also think it's really cool.
yeah, I mean, I bought like a old like raunchy like 70s
The
freaking
art,
poster art.
those are
That
so
was
good.
super cool. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
explain in detail what that is, but
That's my
yeah.
favorite stuff to find is like really crazy old smut.
Yeah.
That stuff is like it's really, really hard to come by just because it's obviously so niche.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's because it like
cool.
back in the day there wasn't really like it was like so taboo still,
Yeah.
but like not taboo at the same time. It's like if you know, you know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
100%.
like, but like to like the basic everyday like American, like it was so like against it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can kind of like see the way that society grows when you're sourcing these things. Cause I mean, like I have old smut from like the 50s and the 40s all the way up to like the 90s. And you can see the way that society like starts to open up about sexuality and anything that was taboo then like gradually became like mainstream,
Yeah.
especially like now when you compare it. But yeah, it's really cool to see that stuff.
Oversaturated now. Super oversaturated.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So fun question. If you can only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's a really hard question. I have this like deep, deep love for the Southern style curry noodles at Manao. I crave them all the time. So probably that.
That's pretty good. Have you been to Shanghai?
Yeah, I did. I recently checked them out
Have you tried their southern noodles?
Yeah, the cow soy.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. When I was in Thailand, I actually stayed in Chiang Mai for a week, and my dad had been living there for a while, so he took me to his favorite place. It was this like little mom and pop place called Mary's. Their cow soy was insane.
Dang.
Yeah, but the Chiang Mai like definitely rivals it. It's good.
Dang. I fuck with both those places. Very good.
Yeah, Long Beach has really good Thai food.
They do.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
On Broadway and then Shanghai on Anaheim. Go check those out. I believe Shanghai was like on the Michelin Guide.
Really?
Yeah, I think last year. I'm not sure about
That's
this
so
year
awesome.
again, but still, like for Long Beach, I'll fucking take it.
Yeah.
So what are like some of the pros and cons of working in the service industry for you now, or maybe like not so much now, but maybe like a couple of years ago or earlier?
I mean, at the beginning,
as being like a small business owner.
At the beginning, the cons of it were just like scheduling. Like it takes time and experience as a small business owner to like figure out how to prioritize your energy, like your time, but especially your energy. It kind of becomes you have to choose like what you want to invest yourself in. Yeah, exactly. And I was so used to just like grinding, working in bars all the time. I would always have at least 2 bar jobs. And I had been that way for well over 5 years. So I was so used to that when I started OkOk, I had no idea how to manage my time and my energy. So the beginning was the rough learning lesson. But the networking was so good that that was always the good part.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like I'm in a little like weird situation right now where I want to like focus on like events and pop-ups and do my own thing, and then I'm also doing this podcast here that we're on right now. And then I also work full-time job, so
That's
it's
so
like
much.
So it's like trying to find like a balance of life. It's like if I'm not working, then I'm working in like this, and then also working like to find more events to do. And it's like trying to find that like balance. Like when should I like have my me time? Should I have me time, or should I just like be grinding, all the time? But it's like an interesting question. It's like maybe if I worked less hours and put more energy into like what I want to do, would that benefit, but then would I have enough money?
Yeah.
Or would I not make any money?
That's definitely the jump. Like at some point with OkOk, I think I just had to just like believe in myself. I just had to do it. Like I kind of got to the point where I realized that the more energy I was investing in somebody else's business, the less energy OkOk was getting, and it just wouldn't go anywhere if that was the case. It's just me, So I had to really like make the decision to put all my energy into it. That's kind of like what's led me to this point where now it's like 90% of my time and my income. But it's so far been like the best decision ever. I'm really excited to see where things go. Even just within a month of full time, I've launched my website, which I definitely worked on for like 2 years.
It looks so nice.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
and the
that.
photos look great too.
Dude,
like professional, like freaking photos.
My friends really came through for me in a way that was just amazing. My friend Jay Diebel shot everything, and my friend Alexa Safran was the model. She's been my model since day one, which has been really awesome. She's literally just like my high school friend. It's been awesome.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those photos, they look like they're just like really professional.
Thank you.
It's like, what?
It's more than I could have ever imagined. I was floored when I saw the photos. I was so emotional on set that day.
Better than Nikes.
Yeah. Jay's great. He knows what he's doing. I was stoked. I never could have imagined that that's what it would have looked like. I was so frustrated building it in the first place because every time I would try to make the website, it just didn't feel right. And the second that we shot those with Jay and I started building everything, it just clicked and looked exactly like I wanted it to. I was really happy.
Yeah, websites are definitely hard because like a lot of websites kind of all look the same, and then they all like look a little.
How do you set yourself apart?
Yeah, exactly. And I like just like the simplicity of your website.
Thank you.
And then the OkOk vintage is like it just goes like good with the black and white, and it's just like very.
Thank you.
Clean.
I want it to be very straightforward.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not like too crazy, not too much stuff going on.
Yeah, simple. Just show up, buy vintage, have a good day.
Yeah. Well, with all this like growth you've done in like a month, you said, since you like, started doing this full time.
It's just unfolding so much, and the first month was just like an overwhelming amount of change in a great way.
So where do you see yourself in like 5 years from now?
Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question.
I know. It's been a month. Maybe you'd be like a millionaire.
That's like never been my goal. My goal is to live in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of dogs and goats and just sell vintage from my computer.
Just dogs and goats? No other animals?
No, dogs and goats only. In 5 years, I hope that OkOk is just bigger than what it is now. I want it to be my main source of income. I would like to not have a brick and mortar. I would like to just be online. I would love to be able to just travel and source all over the world and come home and live on my cute little farm and do weekly web drops of the great things that I found. I really see vintage being like the rest of my life 100%, because at the end of the day, it's so much more passion than it is work. It's so fulfilling for me that if it could just be my whole life, that would be awesome. Yeah. I just want it to stay exactly like it is. But bigger.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where would your farm be?
Oh my gosh.
Here in Long Beach? On the
Absolutely
ocean?
not.
Just kidding.
Absolutely
You became that rich,
not.
just have a farm over here.
Right off Anaheim.
Would they even allow it?
No, probably not. No, thank you. I would say Central Coast. Nice. Like slow, Paso Robles, something over there. I've like always wanted to move that way, but I'm not ready for a farm yet. So hopefully in 5 years.
Until then.
Exactly.
Damn, sounds nice. Do you have any in the weed stories?
My entire life is an in the weeds story.
I'm sorry.
Every day I look at my to-do list.
You know what I forgot is that I think we used to work together,
we
right?
did work together.
Dang.
That's how we met.
Oh,
at Pod, right? Yeah, at Padre.
Dang.
Wait. Yeah.
There's so many people that have like had on here. I'm like, wait, we worked together, right?
That's so funny. Yeah.
Time just goes by too fast.
It really does. Long Beach is so small too. It's just how it works. Especially if you're in the service industry, you work with everybody at some point.
Yeah. We know everybody in the city.
100%.
It's disgusting. But it's nice sometimes. But
it's beautiful and terrifying all in the same breath.
It's like there's this new coffee shop that opened up. Not like new, but it's still like new.
Yeah.
And I started going there because like no one goes there. And I was like, this is where I can go
1 week?
Where I won't see anybody that knows me, especially with the podcast. Everyone seems to like be catching on to it. And I've gotten people that come up to me like, hey, I listen to your podcast. Hey, blah, blah, are you part of Linecheck? Shout out to all those people I see in Long Beach that are like, hey, what's up? Thank you. Thanks for listening, everybody. But I'm shy. But yeah, so I'm at a new coffee shop. I'm not gonna disclose the
You can't disclose the
information of
location. It's top secret.
yeah, it's top secret.
Will you tell me later?
Yeah, I'll tell you
Okay,
after. So in the weeds, what's your favorite in the weeds story? It's like where
my
Brendan
gosh.
was yelling at me.
No,
Just kidding.
I don't think
I
I've
never
ever heard
yelled,
you
no.
yell. It has to be bar or like food service related.
It can be whatever.
Dude, the last few months I've been putting myself in the weeds. I've been closing the bar, getting out at like 3 a.m. and then I have to be at the flea market at 5 a.m.
That's rough. Oh yeah, I seen your stories.
Yeah. That's like part of the transition from bar life to small business.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ugly part for
Yeah.
sure. I would consider that in the weeds.
That is very much.
It's
in
so
the
much
weeds.
worse
It's
than
like, why
a
am I
busy
doing
bar.
this?
That I ask myself that, like, why am I doing this? And then immediately I have my answer of like, that's just what it is right now. And
Yeah.
like, you have this big goal that you want to achieve. So you have to put in this work and be in these really uncomfortable situations for a minute, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, they're like long days.
Yeah,
They're pretty brutal.
I've been there before.
I'm like asleep by 7 p.m. on those days. And I hit taqueria after the fleet every time.
Nice.
It's worth it, but.
Yeah, there was like this one summer where I don't know why I did this, but I worked 2 jobs. I opened in the morning for like a prep shift, and then after the prep shift, I went to like LA to work a dinner shift.
Oh my gosh, both?
And then both in one
like
day.
one Long Beach, one LA?
Yeah.
No.
And then on the weekends for breakfast, I would do pop-ups.
Okay, that's
I'd
so
like
much.
I didn't have a day off for the entire summer.
I've done like juggling like 2 bar jobs and like organizing markets and like selling at the shop and still selling through my normal Instagram or whatever, where like it's constantly juggling, but that's pretty brutal.
I mean, like that's more like self thing, but as I've been doing this podcast, and I'm pretty sure you do this a lot too, is communicating with people about, you know, buying clothing and people that want to buy it, but then they don't buy it and they haven't paid yet.
Yep.
And talking to people is exhausting online.
You just like your brain's always turned on in general. Like if you're not doing one thing, you're doing another. That's been like a huge part of working for myself, is trying to like draw a hard boundary with myself to be like, okay, you're not doing anything that has to do with work for one day. That's it, just one day. It's really hard, but you have to do it.
Yeah. Well, it was really good to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Good hanging out with you. Everybody go check out Ashleigh's Instagram, OkOk Vintage on Instagram, and then click the link to check out her website and go buy some cool things.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.